Okay, we're here to talk about another Fiction Friday book review. You guys ready? Before I get into this week's review, just want to remind you, my book, The Warbringer, is on sale on Amazon. You got it in paperback and, of course, ebook for those that like to use their digital e-readers. So go check it out. I would greatly appreciate that. And, of course, let me know what you think of it. Now let's get down to what you guys actually are watching this for. And that is my review, this time, of Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. Now, I know this came out a little while back, a number of years actually, but I hadn't read it yet and thought I'd give it a whirl. So let's break this down step by step here. The cover. Now, I know the age-old saying that you don't judge a book by a cover, but hey, let's do it anyway. Looking on it, very clear to me it's going to be some kind of possibly a thriller, because you got somebody running here with explosion going on. You can barely see here, not sure if you can really make it out on there, but you can see some decor inside of possibly a cathedral, the Pantheon, or something like that. Just the overall look, this is kind of what you get when you think of some of the thriller styles, dramatic book series. There's also very clearly a clock down here, right next to the explosion, which leads me to think there's going to be some kind of a bomb. That's just kind of my first thoughts of the cover. Honestly, just looking at the cover alone, I don't know if I necessarily would have picked this up not knowing what it is. I am very much someone who does judge a book by its cover. If you don't have a good enough cover to get my attention to make me want to read your book, I'm probably not going to read the back of it to see what it's about and eventually get into the book either. I know there's plenty of you that are the same way, so not a cover I would possibly pick up, but luckily I already knew what it was about, just based on the movie and everything, which I had already seen, so I was interested in checking it out. Now that leads to the back of the book, which will have the overall kind of a description, brief synopsis of what the book's about. We're all used to what this is, and just based on reading this alone, a few words pop out at me, which kind of make me intrigued as to what this is. If the cover didn't do it for me, back does a little bit. Probably one of the biggest thing on here is the mention of the Illuminati. Secret societies and stuff like that are very intriguing to all of us, really. It makes for good fiction, good conspiracy theories and such. So while the cover didn't really necessarily do it for me, the back had enough coming at me that made me kind of curious what was going on. So just to give you a quick here, it's a world-renowned Harvard symbologist, Robert Langdon, is summoned to a Swiss research facility to analyze a cryptic symbol seared into the chest of a murdered physicist. What he discovers is unimaginable, a deadly vendetta against the Catholic Church by a centuries-old underground organization, the Illuminati. Desperate to save the Vatican from a powerful time bomb, Langdon joins forces in Rome with the beautiful and mysterious scientist Vittoria Vetra. Together they embark on a frantic hunt through sealed crypts, dangerous catacombs, deserted cathedrals, and the most secretive vault on Earth, the long-forgotten Illuminati lair. So that kind of gets a good hook for me to kind of want to see what it's about. I had actually already seen the movie with Tom Hanks before I read this book. I'm sad to say I didn't like it when I first saw it. Couldn't really remember why, because I hadn't seen it since it first came out. I did watch it again after reading this book, and as often is the case, the book is very much better than the film it inspired. The film, to me, the main character that ended up being the bad guy, I don't want to give too much away for anyone that may have not seen the movie or read the book. His motivation was unclear to me, but the motivation was very clearly spelled out in the book. So, to get into that, we all know what time it is. Okay, so Langdon is a symbologist, obviously, that worked at Harvard, and he is brought in by CERN, which is an organization that studies science and particle physicists that are exploring the God particle, or antimatter. But that is just kind of where the story starts. Langdon is brought over there because one of the scientists is murdered, and then on his chest is seared Illuminati. Now, the importance of that is the fact that it is an ambigram, I believe it's called, where the word both right side up and upside down says the same thing. That is what first gets Langdon's interest into going over to Rome and actually figuring out what's going on, because he has studied the Illuminati and the secret society, and they're supposed to be extinct, but this raises a lot of questions. Essentially, the Illuminati is trying to destroy the Vatican and the Catholic Church because of things they had done in the past to, murder scientists for speaking against what the church was saying. Obviously, this is historical stuff that people actually know, that the church used to, put on trial and kill scientists. Now, here's what I want to get into the part that I didn't like about the movie, but was very well done in the book, and that is the motivations of the person behind all of this. I'm not going to completely say who it was, but I'm going to just mention certain things about it. The person who killed the Pope, which brought on the conclave and the voting of a new Pope, and when they abducted the Prefereti is what the book refers to them as. While that's not what the actual real world Vatican calls the preferred people who are going to be possibly considered to be voted in as the next Pope, doesn't matter for the part of the book that we're referring to, so we'll just stick with it. So the Prefereti are kidnapped and are killed one by one publicly at different churches around Rome that were churches that had sculptures done by Bernini in order to lead to the Church of the Illuminati, the Church of Light, where the Illuminati used to meet in Rome. It comes out that the Pope had a child, which, they're supposed to be celibate. So somebody who had believed in the Pope and believed in him fully found out that he had this child, which goes against what was supposed to happen in their religion and goes against God. He was devastated and felt betrayed, and for that reason he put all of this stuff in motion, adding with the fact that he felt that people worship science in today's age more than religion, their beliefs. That doesn't mean people don't believe, I'm not trying to put anything on that, but there's elements of truth there. So he put all this in motion to make people look to the church again, like there's a war against the church, and in the end, through steps taken, the person tries to make himself look like God is speaking directly to him, and he's able to find things and stop this bomb and save the city and do all this because of the way God speaks to him. Now, I'm not going to go into every little way that happened. That's way too much for me to cover. But the motivations of the killer make a lot more sense when you have that, versus in the movie where it's just kind of, people don't believe in God, so I'm going to kill people. I had a harder time grasping that fact. Those are just the tidbits of stuff I'm going to touch on. I don't want to get too much into the book, obviously. I always just like to give kind of my thoughts of certain aspects of it, the cover, the synopsis, and of course the overall book. I will say this much. While this normally is not a book I necessarily would have picked up to read, oh my God, I'm glad I did. This book was 700 and something pages. Let's see here, 713 pages. A very large book. Books this size to me are normally more fantasy books like George R.R. Martin, Game of Thrones and everyone that's everyone into, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that, which I've never personally been a fan of fantasy books. I can't really get through them. But this proves to me it's not because of the length, it's not my cup of tea. But if you have not read this book, I highly recommend that you do. I loved it. Probably one of the best books I've read while doing this review channel. Now, don't consider reading the book based solely on what you saw in the movie. It's not the same thing, not to put down, Tom Hanks, Ron Howard, or anyone else that was associated with that film. I know they did great work, but it wasn't the same to me. And I didn't really care for the movie too much, but the book was fantastic. So if you have read this book, please, by all means, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. If you haven't, let me know if you're going to check it out. Heck, just let me know what you are reading, what you might want me to give you my 2 cents on. And same thing, you can give me the thoughts of what you thought of Angels and Demons, the movie. So again, that's my thoughts of Dan Brown, Angels and Demons. But if you wouldn't mind, if you liked the video, go ahead and subscribe. I can go ahead and keep you updated on any other book reviews I have coming out. The next one I plan on doing is A Dog's Purpose, which I haven't actually seen that movie yet. You can also go to www.jdmartinbooks.com and go ahead and you can follow me there. You can keep track of my blog. You can check out my new book. We have merchandise on sale, like our Fiction Friday t-shirt and such. But in the end, as always, happy reading. Catch you guys later.